So there's a motion to modify child support. Mr. Gross just entered a notice of appearance. I guess my question is, Mr. Gross, are you ready to go forward today?
No, Your Honor, we're not. We're going to ask it to be reset onto the represented parties calendar. And of course, my notice of appearance was entered, I think, the day that our response would have been due. So we would like it to be reset, please.
Ms. Katori Singh, any comment on that?
I guess that's okay if that's the rules, but I gave him an extra week so that he would have time to do it, because they said I could set it the week before. I just kind of wanted to get this handled before next month.
Okay. This docket is designed to have two unrepresented parties. And when an attorney appears and wants to go to a representative docket, which is either with Judge Evans or I believe Judge Fassett, then I will put it over to that docket. So do you know which date will be available? We're going to check for an available date and time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. He just wasn't he wasn't represented when I sent the papers, according to him.
You didn't do anything that you shouldn't have done, but it changes when Mr. Gross gets involved.
So I don't have an attorney. Do I need to get one to do that?
You don't have to appear on that docket. It's up to you whether you want to. Okay.
I live in Oregon, so it's been really hard. I can't get an attorney in Washington. There wasn't any available when I tried, and Washington doesn't like to deal with Oregon, and Oregon doesn't want to deal with Washington. And I live in Newport.
So I will say you can appear on Zoom just like you are today to argue your case. Whether you feel an attorney would be helpful, that's up to you. Okay. So the first available date is July 11th at 1 p.m.
As long as that doesn't preclude, because my daughter, the one daughter is turning 18 the end of this week. That's not going to preclude her from, because the paper said I had to file before she turned 18.
Well, you filed, so
that's okay.
It would go back to the date of filing.
Okay. I have a mediation scheduled on that day, Your Honor.
Okay. Then we'll go to July 25th.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Yes. 1 o'clock, not 9 o'clock, 1 p.m.
Understood. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next up, Melissa Latos and Christine Latos. I saw Ms. Hiltz is here, and I think I also saw Ms. Latos here. Ms. Hiltz, you were to receive $1,000 by a couple days ago, and have you received that?
No, sir.
All right. So I'm going to read my bench order of May 7th, 2023. It says Christine Latos is ordered to make a $1,000 payment towards back child support by June 15, 2023. The payment must be received by that date. If the payment is not received, Ms. Latos will be held in contempt of court and a bench warrant will be issued. And we set the review date for today.
Correct.
So the representation is that the amount has not been paid. I don't see Ms. Latos is here. So Ms. Hiltz, out of an abundance of caution, it's 9:07. I'm going to come back to this case at 9:15 to see if she appears. And then if not, then I'll make an order consistent with my last order. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Here, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning. I saw Miss Young was here. There we are. Miss Young, there we go. Okay. So I read the declaration and it looked like the visit went pretty well last weekend. Ms. Young, what was your impression?
It was nice. We went to the movie and I got some one-on-one time with her. We went to the park. And again, it was good. I just feel like we could still do the same thing, just us. It went well. It was definitely, she was nice.
All right, Mr. Miller, any comments?
Yeah, actually I do. So
Okay.
I've been under the impression from like my girlfriend and Taylor and my girlfriend have been talking that Taylor wants to just settle this. She wants to just get along with the parenting plan. That's my impression. Yeah, I'm under the impression that Taylor was going to bring it up in court today, but I just beat her to the punch, I think.
What's your position on that?
Mine is,
No, I'm talking to Mr. Miller right now.
What do you mean? Like,
I mean,
how do I think on that?
well, there's a temporary parenting plan that calls for unsupervised visits basically every other weekend. That's an
Right.
order that was in effect until we changed it because I think it was Drew Stewart came into the picture and he had some issues and we wanted to make sure that your daughter wasn't in contact with him. My
yeah,
understanding, he's out of the picture at this time.
completely.
So,
He-
what's your position on unsupervised visits every other weekend, Mr. Miller?
I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. All right. Ms. Young, what's your position on that?
But time out, please. I do want to like make it clear though, we're all on the same page that my daughter comes home. That's all I ask. That she comes home, she's back here for school. That's it.
And I proposed something else too, but you guys haven't responded to it. And I'm waiting for my attorney as well. But
What, so tell me what's your position on the, if we re-implemented the current temporary parenting plan?
well, he wanted to be every other weekend during the summer, every other week during the summer, and every other weekend during the school year. But I wanted it to be, we just switch it. I get her for the whole summer. He gets her every other weekend. And then I get her on the weekends during the school year. I feel like that's the only way fair. If not, I feel like she belongs to be with me 5 days a week, because this every other weekend, I don't feel like that's another 2 weeks going without seeing her. So I said, if you guys really don't want to move her in school, then she lives with me for the breaks and for the entire summer. That's 3 months out of the year that she can live with
I
me.
can't allow Malaya to go all summer.
Mr. Miller, let's just listen
Okay.
right now.
And she would still get every other weekend. That'd be the same thing as 9 months of the year when she's in school, that I'd have to see her every other weekend. So why can't I have her during the summer? Because the big thing was that she's in school. Well, when she's not in school, she should be able to be with me. I've had her for 5 years of her life. This just started. And the only reason she hasn't been with me is because Cameron was keeping her from me. That's
We're not
why.
going to go down that road because that's not what we're even talking about. We're not going tit for tat. We're trying to settle it, Taylor.
All
I'm
right,
not going tit for tat at all. I'm just stating that if you want her for the school year, I feel like I should get her for the summer.
Okay, I need both of you to listen now. I'm going to ask Ms. Corey to weigh in on this.
I don't think we're near finding a final solution. I think going back to the previous temporary parenting plan is a good call. Obviously, this investigation needs to be completed before we can find some common ground. As of yet, Mr. Miller has actually, we have had a Zoom appointment, and that's all. I have not received payment from him as of yet, going on a couple of months now. So, but
I'm
I
not
see.
making no payment until everything's done. That's how I work. When the job's completed, that's when I pay. It's no different than running a business. When the job's completed is when payment is received.
The problem with that is if you don't like the conclusion at the end of the job, then you can walk away and not pay. And that leaves guardian ad litems vulnerable. So
Well,
they
even
need
if
to be
me-
paid as we go along.
Well, if me and Taylor figure it out, then she was actually brought in for no reason.
Obviously, we didn't figure it out.
Well,
Well, we
that
haven't
is
even really talked about it yet, Taylor, have we?
all right. No speaking right now. I want to find, all right. I encourage the parties to reach a resolution, but for right now, I'm looking at the temporary parenting plan, and it calls for every other weekend from Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6. And it calls for the drop off and pickup location at GC's truck stop. And what I want to do is,
Could we move it a little closer? Because I drive like almost an hour and they drive 15 minutes.
Not 15 minutes to Gigi's truck stop.
Here's what I'm looking at is rather than make changes, what I want to do is implement what the court already decided. And then I'm going to tell you what the potential next step is, okay? So Ms. Young saw Malaya on the
Malaya.
17th. If we go every other weekend, that means it's July 1st or June 30th, and July 1st and 2nd would be the next weekend.
I talked them, I do have a family reunion from the 27th to the 3rd that I wanted to take her to.
Well, you'll have her there part of that time.
Because it's in Spokane. But I'd love her to meet that side of the family.
Again, right now, I'm going to stick with the temporary parenting plan that was in effect, that was entered on September 22nd, 2022. So it's going to be Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6. If you and Mr. Miller can come to an agreement as to what would be a final parenting plan, then I encourage you to do that. Otherwise, I think your next step is to set this for a trial regarding a permanent parenting plan. And you would have to put that on what's called the Universal Trial Setting Calendar, which is on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then if you can't come to an agreement, you can each present your case as to what parenting plan should be. That's at that time, Ms. Young, you can explain to the court that you'd like Malaya all summer if she's going to stay with Mr. Miller all winter or all school year. So that's where you would make that argument. Okay.
Your Honor, if I was to accept like her offer for her having Malaya all summer, would I not see Malaya at all summer?
I think it would essentially switch. You would have to see her every other weekend.
Okay.
But
So
then we
during the
communicate.
what I hear her saying is during the school year, she would get every other weekend. During the summer, you would get every other weekend.
Okay.
That would be the proposal.
And then we have breaks. We split them like Christmas. We split them.
Sure, you'd have to figure out spring break, Christmas break, and other holidays, how you're going to handle that. You'd have to
Okay.
handle, if Mr. Miller wanted to spend a week on a vacation with Malaya during the summer, you might have to factor that in.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm implementing the temporary parenting plan, unsupervised visits, Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6. And I encourage you to work together if you can and come up with a plan going forward. You can both sign off on it and send it to me and I'll sign off on it. Or
Is the training order listed to where I can actually talk to her, or do I still only have scheduled visits?
Let me see if there's. Do you have any objection to a telephone call, Mr. Miller?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's limit it to once a week. So that would be 2 calls in between your visits for right now. And then again, you and Mr. Miller can speak and I hope you come up with an agreement. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Corey, anything you'd like to add?
It seems like my services aren't wanted in this case. May I be excused?
Yes, at this point you
Sure.
can. Mr. Miller, you're still required to pay Ms. Corey
I wanted
for the
her in
time that
it,
she put in.
if she don't mind.
What's that?
I still want her in it. My attorney hasn't responded to me or anything. I have no idea what's going on.
All right. I don't know that I was going to set another review hearing here because I think either you're going to come to an agreement or you need to set it for a trial.
But if Twyla doesn't mind, I'd still like to have a conversation with her.
Ms. Corey?
I don't mind staying on the case, but I would like to be paid for my time.
Yeah.
And the court's policy, as well as my policy, is that I be paid ahead of time, and I hold that money. If there is any left over after completing the job, then that would be refunded to Mr. Miller.
Okay.
To Miller or me? Because since Miller didn't
To
pay.
both.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll set a review. I'm going to set this out a ways. I'll set a review for July 27th. And that will be to look at the status of payment. The court has the ability of entering a judgment against one party or the other if there's no payment. And I may consider that at that time.
Yep.
Okay, I don't hear them. We were just going to check in. Miss Fellows, you are here. I had ordered a week on, week off schedule, and I set this day to simply check in to see how that was going and make sure it was going. Do you have any update on that?
I do. I emailed both parents on May 8th. I did hear back from the father. The next day, he said things are going absolutely wonderful. He and the mom are communicating really well and things are going well. I'm surprised that neither one of them are here, as they have appeared at the hearings, but maybe they didn't, maybe they forgot. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was what the review today was about. I'm not sure I need to set any more reviews on this docket, and you probably need to be discharged.
I haven't been paid in full. Both parents owe a balance. So before I'm discharged, I would like to make sure that I get paid.
You want to set a review also on that? I could set that for July 27th and address those issues.
That would be much appreciated.
Okay, let's do that. We'll set a review on the guardian ad litem fee
Okay.
for July 27th. And if you're not paid by then, we can take some action. I see Ms.
Okay,
Campos
sounds
is
good.
here.
Thank you.
It does not look like LeVay Wishon is here.
Your Honor, I believe that the parties have agreed final pleadings to enter. Our office had drafted a final child support order and worksheets. Both parties signed off on that. We sent it over to the court with both parties' signatures. It's my understanding that both parties have signed off on all of the pleadings.
Okay. I do have those with me. And the only question I had was the child support, and it sounds like everybody's agreed on that. So give me a moment here. I'm going to sign everything and then I'll tell you what I've signed. conclusions about a marriage, the final divorce order, the parenting plan, the child support worksheets, and the child support order.
Thank you.
Right? Any questions?
I have a question. So I'm done with all of this and with him.
You are done. This is the last paperwork that needs to be entered. So you're good.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Ms. Hiltz, you're still here. Did you have an additional question?
No, you said you were going to hold us over to see if.
Oh,
she
I'm
showed
sorry.
up.
That's
That's
why.
okay.
Yes, I probably is more than 15 minutes now.
Well.
All right. So
It's a short docket, so.
Ms. Latos has not appeared. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate it. So I will enter a bench order indicating that I find her in contempt, and we're going to issue a bench warrant. I'm going to set bail at $1,000 on the bench warrant. Okay. I know that's not all you're owed, but that's what I'm going to set it at this point.
I mean, I don't know what the next step is, so there we go. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for waiting.